What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It is match reaction time. Leeds United won, West Brom won, and wow. Oh, disappointing. Disappointing to say the least. Going to go through the game today, but yeah, it's a letdown after the previous two games, and it almost feels like a come down. It feels like we put everything into Sunderland, everything into Sheffield United, and then today we kind of expected just to turn up and win in some instances. But listen, we're going to speak about that today. Guys, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, drop your comments and thoughts below on the game today. Thank you to Parrot House for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciate Parrot House, who is also a member, and thank you for all members of the channel. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description. Wow. Mike here saying these lunchtime kickoffs. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. Chris here saying we look tired. Callum here saying back to reality almost. Barker mismanaged the game. Okay. Shrew say thought a poor draw. It was such a weird game today. It was such a weird game because we started really well. I think we started well. And apart from one instance where John Swift almost scored, I felt like we was playing nice, comfortable football. I thought that we was moving pretty well. But then once we scored the goal, it's like we just switched off. It's like we expected just to win. Now, I was joking in the house saying, I might as well just turn off now. Wake me up when it's time to do the match reaction because we're going to win. And I think the players thought the same. Obviously, I can do that. I'm a fan. But the players, I feel like they just took their foot off the gas and allowed West Brom back into it. And listen, let me just say as well, by the way, West Brom, they deserve a draw today. No doubt about it. We may have had a lot more towards the second half of the second half. But for large portions of the game, they had the better opportunities, I feel, at some points, and more control of the ball, which is absolutely insane to say when we're at Elland Road. But so fair play to West Brom. I feel like they've earned a point today, no doubt. We didn't do enough to win for me. We didn't do enough to win. Darren here saying not enough urgency. Yeah. Noel saying no desire to win. It was bland. I can agree with that as well. Ian saying subs are crap, too late. And Misanthrope here, Farker's favoritism was there to see. You need to rotate players better. Aaronson and James look spent. We're going to speak about that. We're going to speak about that. Sub here saying not an ideal result, but I think we've taken 7 points from the last 3. I agree with that, Sub, but you know what it is? I think that you would have hoped that, not hoped, but you would have thought that the point would have come against probably Sheffield United away, beat Sunderland, beat West Brom. But it is what it is. It is what it is in terms of this. For me, let me just say this off the bat. Doesn't change my thinking. I think we go again next week against Portsmouth. We reset and Farker gets into him and say, you thought you did enough? Because even Farker today, people are going to be talking about the draws good enough today. Farker was very, very animated on the touchline, which he's not usually, okay? He is not usually animated on the touchline, and he wanted the win today. He knew what it meant. We could have gone 8 points clear, I think. Let me just... I can't remember now. It's so long ago, but I saw the table when we went 1-0 up. But we could have gone a nice distance ahead, and it would have made all the difference going into Sheffield United's game later on today away at QPR. We could have had a nice, comfortable lead. But now with that draw, it probably gives them a little, they've dropped points. There's still a long way to go this season. And there is. But we're taking it one game at a time. And look, I'm glad that we've got another long break until the Portsmouth game. We've got over a week to prepare for that one. And I do feel that some things need to be changed. I do. Just a couple of things. And Jed here saying Aaronson should have been way off earlier. We're going to speak about that, man. We're going to speak. Ryan here saying, I like to start Joseph and Pruitt in the 10 in the next game. Yeah, I thought that the people talk about the subs. Let me get the lineup up. Let me get the lineup up. Right. The lineup was exactly what I said it was going to be in the preview, and it was player for player, position for position. I was on the money with that, and it just made sense, didn't it? We didn't need to see Gurev in the midfield today. We could have done with Rothwell in there. We was always going to, we should have had more of the ball. We should have been the more creative team, and it calls for a Rothwell over Gurev at home. But man, there was just a couple of performances today, people. And listen, let me just say that you always have to say this, people. You always have to say this, because whenever you criticize or you don't give all praise to Brendan Aaronson, especially the American people come on here and say you can't say that about our Brendan. But this is the second game in a row now where he is ghosted. And I tell you how bad it was. It wasn't until the second half when I saw Brendan Aaronson make a run towards the West Brom defenders. I went, "Oh God, Brendan's playing." He was anonymous today, terrible, and that's the second game in a row. And the thing is, it's not just me saying this. You know, it's bad because Farke has usually left on Brendan, even when he has had quiet games, because he will come up with a moment, he will come up with an assist, he will come up with a goal usually. But the last two, he's actually been withdrawn him twice early. He was the first subbed off today, and he was right to. He was doing nothing today, nothing at all. And I don't like saying that against Brendan, but what it does say to me is that there's the players on the bench, Nanto, Ramazani, have to be looking at him going, well, if he's performing like this, what are we not doing to get a start in the next game? That's what it has to be. Those players will be asking those questions. And again, these are questions that come up in the summer about game time and everything else like that. They'll be asking those questions 100%. But do I see him being dropped for Portsmouth next week? No, because Farke could trust him. And Aaronson's got enough in the bank to do so, in my opinion. But the last two performances have been pretty brutal from Brendan. No lie. Yeah, should have come off earlier. Darren here saying it's complacency. West Brom were hungry and won all the 1v1 battles. Yeah, Mink here saying West Brom play Burnley the game after next. Yeah, I mean, but Burnley don't concede, do they? But yeah, no. Look, yeah, Brett. Okay, I can't put that in the chat on the screen, but Brendan's probably tired. Maybe, but we've already heard from Farke saying that Brendan doesn't get tired. He's got no issues, worries about his fitness today, but he was like the incomplete piece today, and it kind of did affect Joel Peru's game. Again, I thought Peru didn't have a really good one today either. There was a couple of instances where he could have released the ball a bit quicker, or there was one time though where Mano could have played him in quicker, and he would have probably been in one-on-one. But I just didn't think it was all-round a good performance from Joel today. But when Joseph came on for Brendan, which was a good sub by Daniel Farke, very good sub, in fact, to have Peru there with Joseph, I thought that was the right move. It just wasn't going to be our day today. It just wasn't going to be our day. That's what it felt like to me. And then even towards the end where Tom Fellows was going through, you thought, damn, West Brom could have won this game. Because we just didn't do enough. Their goalkeeper today is just... He's just another average championship goalkeeper, but we didn't test him enough. And I feel like if we got a few more shots on target, we would have won this game. But look, it is what it is. What can we do? What can we do? People saying the ref was atrocious. The referee was just trying not to book anybody. I think that Malumbi guy for West Brom, he must have had about 5 or 6 fouls to his name, not one yellow. Yeah, it was one of those. But overall, the referee didn't affect this game. We did. We didn't do nearly enough. Our crowd even got into it. Our crowd could sense the team needed a boost. They got behind them, and it just still wasn't enough today. So we're going to have to take these drop points, as annoying and frustrating as it is, and move on to Portsmouth and go from there, because we need to get the 3 points back in the bag. Yeah, Ming here saying you got to think, why no Ramazani? Well, this is it now. Solomon today was fine. But when you compare him to his, real informed performances, it wasn't nowhere near the usual standard for Mano today. So even he could have been hooked earlier. Some of you in the chat talk about Dan James. The thing is with DJ, and you saw even towards the end when he blazed that one over, there's always a chance that DJ can do something. There's always a chance. He can be as quiet as a mouse. But with Dan James, there's always a chance that he'll use that pace of his, get in behind, create a goal, or score one. And that's why I feel you can leave him on. Whereas I do understand people talking about Ramazani earlier on today. He could have come on a bit earlier. For me, Nanto could have come on earlier. And he didn't wait until the 70th minute, in all fairness. He did bring him on, what is it, 62, 63 minutes? But yeah, we didn't do enough. We're not doing enough. Yeah, Donna here saying, Aaronson and Solomon, we're not going to do anything today. Should have gone off at halftime, clear as day. Yeah, I mean, he's never going to do it at halftime. I think we all know that. But yeah, I feel like he could have made a double change, and I don't think anyone would have had any arguments with that. Okay, I mean, when people make comments like this, Sean saying totally okay with a draw today, winning them all is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about game by game basis. Of course, we don't think we're going to win all the games, and I've even said that I feel we'll still go up, but we will drop points here, along the way. But you still got to talk about the manner of the game. If you're not talking about the manner of the game, why are you here? Like, what's the point? If you take the draw, okay, go. Simple. Um, Maddie, okay, yeah, this name here. So many times, why aren't we playing it square instead of going for the selfish goalie? Glory, right? Yeah, glory. Um, I don't know. I don't know. There was an instance in the first half as well with Joel Peru where he could have squared it to Dan James, and James was in a beautiful position, by the way. But Joel has done that before. I think the commentator was a little bit harsh on Joel Peru at that time, talking about him being selfish. First of all, he's a striker. I want my strikers to be selfish, and he has laid them on a plate before. But Joel Peru was just taking a couple too many touches today when he got in behind the defense. It was just one of those days, people. And I don't take any pleasure in that. It doesn't make me feel any better, but I can't, rewrite what happened today. It really just was one of those days. And it was kind of like we went to the bank for the third time. We was already in our overdraft after the Sunderland game. We said, "Oh, look, can I get an extension after the Sheffield United game?" This time the bank just said, "Nah, you taking the mick, mate." You know what I mean? Do it in regular time. So we just run out of late goal magic, and we've kind of used a lot of credit up in the last two games, haven't we? Yeah, Darren, the count's in minus, Darren. All right, the account's in minus. Trust me. Uh, it's crazy. Um, yeah, as well. Our goal, nice goal. Let me just say this. Our goal's really good. Dan James out. Junior Firpo yet again getting on the score sheet. Another header. By the way, we seem to be racking these up. We couldn't get one for love nor money last season. Now we're just scoring them game after game. That was a good goal. But literally from there, I think the commentator said we didn't have a shot from like the 17th minute. I think it was something like that because we took our foot off the gas. We took the foot off the gas. Honestly, I feel like the players thought that was job done because we was moving the ball so nicely, so smoothly, so fluidly like after our goal, and then we just stopped. We just stopped, man, and that's what happens, man. That's what happens. Vega in the house saying here, no sense of urgency, sloppiness, complacency. Even I would say that best word for it, complacency. Perhaps this wakes them up for the final stretch. Intensity. I think it will, people. I think it will. And look, we've come down off one today. Does this give a boost now to Sheffield United and Burnley, Sunderland? We'll see in their next matches. Are they going to regroup after what's happened? We shall see. But we can only look at ourselves. We're clear. Well, we were clear. You know what I mean? We can only look at ourselves and go again in the next game. Tanya here saying, I'd like to see a starting team without Aaronson next week, maybe without Solomon as well. We shall see. The thing is, with Farker, if there's one thing that you have to say about him is if it's worked for so many times, he will not change it. He won't. And going in with over a week's rest away from home, I think the only change we're probably going to see, people, is Ruffwell out and Gruev back in. I think so. I just don't see him dropping Brendan Aaronson. I don't. Even with the two performances that he's seen, one from above when he was banned from the touchline and he withdrew him after 50 odd minutes. And then even today, before the 70th minute, he pulled off Brendan Aaronson. Pause on that. Yeah, FO here saying Farker won't drop Brendan. No way. Yeah, we shall see, man. We shall see. Jay Racer here saying, here come the lunchtime kickoff curse excuses, or we were tired. There's no fatigue for me, JRS. That is not an excuse. We have had a nice gap in between games, real nice. We had Sunderland on a Monday, Sheffield United the next Monday. We've had a nice big gap until today's game, early kickoff or not. That makes no difference to me. And then we've got over a week until Portsmouth. We have had good spacing in order for the same players, if you want to play them over and over again, to keep playing. There's been no excuses for me. Darren here saying, just give Brendan a rest. He can come on in the second half. Yeah, I agree, Darren, but I think someone's going to have to correct me in the chat, but I'm sure this is his 31st start in a row in the league. Maybe someone else can correct me, but I'm sure it is over 30 now where Brendan has started in a row. It just shows you how much Farker trusts him and entrusts his game to come through with something. But he has brought him off twice early on. Joe Roden today, I thought he was good. If we're going to put out the real positives today, Joe Roden was an absolute brick back there, and he was a big reason why Fellows didn't race for a score. Yeah, Fellows isn't the quickest guy in the world, but neither is Joe Roden. But he got back in time and made that important tackle, because otherwise we would probably be talking about a 2-1 loss today, which would be very, very disappointing to say the least. So Joe Roden for me did his work back there. Pascal was He did. He made clearances, Pascal, today, but I don't know if it was just me. He looked a little bit out of place. Like he didn't. He was out of position a couple times, Pascal, today. It wasn't his best outing, in my opinion. Maybe I need to watch it back. I'm not watching it back again. Let me just say that I'm not watching it back. But I just felt after first, watching it, I thought he was a little bit all over the place in comparison to Joe. But yeah, it is what it is, man. What can we say? What we got here? What we got here? Let me just refresh this. Yeah, okay. So, people, here's the table. Still 6 points clear, but obviously Sheffield United go to QPR away today. Who knows what's going to happen in that? But even so, even if Sheffield United win, it will still be a 3-point gap with a big goal difference. So you're talking 4 points, really. It's a shame we couldn't capitalize today, but look, we go again. The form and the results have been too good for me to panic after just one draw. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do it. In terms of that, 17 still unbeaten in the league. I'm not going to panic over that, but I am disappointed with the result today. Let me just get in the super chats here. Liam in the house saying here, West Brom and no mugs. If we go up this game, nobody even remembers. A decent point. And Reese here saying a game too far, but not a disaster. And hopefully QPR do us a favor. Shows we need investment in the summer if we do go up. I mean, guys, look. We all know that. I don't know why people keep saying that. And listen, this isn't against you, Reese, but when we win, lose, or draw, we know we need investment. And I'm always on that. Even with Junior Firpo yet again scoring today, it doesn't make me say we need to keep Junior Firpo next season. We have to take it for the league that we're in. And we know we need investment in the summer. I think everyone's aware. Actually, no, not everyone, because somebody did say in my comments that they do feel that this team could stay up next season, which for me is crazy talk, by the way. That's absolutely insane. If you think that this team could stay up in the Premier League without any investment, I think that's insane talk. But yeah, of course, Reese and everyone else, we'll do those talks when we get promoted and when we do transfer streams and everything else like that, and the keep sell bench video. We'll speak about that in detail then for sure. Marcus here saying we need major investment in the summer. We do. Neil saying here, no panic with a K. KG, just a few tweaks, a few changes, start the lineup, and we go again. We shall see. Jack here saying this team would concede 100+ goals. Honestly, what it is, Jack, is that some people think because we're doing so well, because the players are doing so well at this level, that it will just transfer into the Premier League. The 3 teams that got promoted last season have got 9 wins combined. Okay. And if you're looking at surviving, you need around 9 wins to stay up. 9-10 wins with a host of draws in there. We go up with this team without any changes especially to the major positions. We're done. We may as well not bother. So I just hope that goes without saying. But when I'm talking about these players now, I'm speaking at a championship level, and I have done all season, of course. Sorry, Neil. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it, man. My bad. You know you're my man. I love you. Ryan here saying the step up is night and day. It's even worse than it's more steep than ever. It's more steep than ever. Whatever you feel that a player could possibly do, you need to kind of half it, and probably a little bit more these days. That used to be the mantra about 4 years ago. It's probably a little bit more now. But look, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But look, guys, there's not much to say else about this game. There really isn't. And that's what I would say to people: watch Premier League football and see the golf. Yeah, just watch the bottom half of the Premier League and you'll see what we're coming up against. Is there anything else key from this game? I don't think there is, people. So we're going to leave it there. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will be back with another video at some point. So, hit the notification bell. And guys, if you want to join in live, you got to hit the bell so you know when I'm going live or when I've uploaded. Like the video, helps out the channel and everything else like that. Leeds draw 1-1. We're still clear at the top, but it's a disappointing result today. People, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace out.